Yeah, so top 5 symptoms is number 1 being fatigue. There's this feeling where I got what seemed like a full night's sleep, or where I slept at least a full night of hours and wake up still feeling tired, like I'm hitting the gas and the brakes at the same time. And I often counter that with caffeine. And then, yeah, it's been going on for quite a while. I was never great at waking up, and even after what I would think is a full night of sleep, waking up like 5 out of 10 or lower in energy. But then after an hour or so, the day getting going, energy starting to climb, and then with the help of caffeine, getting to what felt like normal level of energy, although still having that kind of tired feeling behind the eyes a little bit. And then about 2 or 3 in the afternoon is when I could feel that surge wearing off and going back down to like a, not quite like I woke up, but maybe a little lower, like a 6, and finishing the day like that, and then kind of just tapering off down to the end of the day. This has been going on for a long time, since I was little. I really think about it like in high school. It seemed like I was always tired or head bobbing in class, even when I was eating rather healthy for a kid, exercising in multiple sports, and have a decent sleep schedule. It didn't make sense why like I was always so tired compared to what it seemed like with others.
So how many years would that be?
That'd probably be, yeah, at least 20.
Okay,
Yeah.
quite a while. All right. And how does it affect your quality of life? And why did you pick that as number 1?
I picked that as number 1. I think 1, because it's frustrating to feel like I'm living in a healthy lifestyle as far as food, sleep, not very many like bad habits or substances, but to still feel like my tank's constantly not full. Number 2 is anxiety, and what's interesting about it is it doesn't feel like it has a particular source. It's kind of like a high resting rate of anxiety, and paired with the fatigue, it's incredibly frustrating to feel both sluggish and like this resting state of anxiety. It's really that foot on the gas, foot on the brake feeling. It seems like I live like I would say on average, like in the middle, 4 or 5, and it just will kind of stay there. Although at times, like some sudden activity or change in plans or like unpredictable event can cause it to go up a little bit. Generally speaking, it doesn't seem to have like a trigger. It doesn't seem to come and go in a pattern. Just kind of is there. Yeah, it's not so much like an event or a thought pattern or some issue in my life, for example, causes it to go up and down as I think about it or focus on it. It just kind of is there. It's really been there for quite a while, probably more noticeably near the end of college and into grad school. And I've tried really all different types of things, from exercising to yoga to medication, and all of them to some degree help alleviate like the symptoms. Like after strenuous exercise or yoga, I notice it being lower, or after medications. But at the end of the day, after that thing or activity wears off or has passed for some time, it just seems to pop back to where it was. Yeah, with exercise and yoga, maybe a day or 2. Like if I found where if I exercised or did yoga like every 2nd or 3rd day, I could keep it a little lower. But life happens and you start a family, and not always can you dedicate that much time to yourself. And it seems like anything that I have tried is more treating the symptom than whatever the underlying issue is. Yeah, I have like as needed beta blocker and a benzodiazepine. No, I mean, maybe like for 3, 4, 5 hours after taking it, I could go down a little bit, 3 or 4, but it's very temporary. That's why I generally don't take them that much. 3rd is lower back pain, and honestly, it kind of is like it's really low in my back, and like radiates down my hips to knees. Not really. That's what's like that's what always had me think it was some sort of like postural thing, because it seemed like if it was anatomical, it would be unilateral, it would be one-sided. But it's just a diffuse pain across my back, and I've had it for a very long time. I guess the worst part about it is the discomfort and irritation, sometimes trouble sitting still. And I've always been told, like, tall, lanky male, you statistically are gonna have back pain, so just expect it. But I will say, just like the anxiety, as far as like exercise and yoga, those things kind of help. But at the end of the day, there's always this like just low grade back pain. It doesn't limit my ability to function or any of the activities in my life, but it's just always there. Yeah, I would say that it's about the same. It's about a 5. I do find though that just the nature of our lives with sitting, the longer I sit, the more like the hip, thigh, knee kind of areas can start to fire up a little bit, maybe 6 or 7. Hasn't really prevented me from completing the day, but you can start to get really antsy or stand up and start to try to stretch a lot. I mean, it's, yeah, 20 years maybe, back to high school, really, as I finished growing and sitting in desk chairs in high school, kind of where it started maybe. Yeah, so the ear-related symptoms, I would say, are newer, and newer as in maybe 10 years, and particularly in the last 5 years with ear congestion. And I guess if I were to break down my ear symptoms, it's like a ringing. It doesn't feel like it's been maybe as long as the other symptoms. Or I also had thought that maybe I have drawn more attention to it now. So if I were to put that at like 10 years, and the ear congestion is newer, like in the last 5 years, I went to my primary care and just had complaints that it felt like I was wearing earmuffs. And I had a complete wax impaction on both sides. And it was strange for me because I feel like I'm a pretty clean person, as far as showering and cleaning my ears. And it happened each year. It's happened every year for like the last 5 years. I went to an ENT, and the impactions weren't as bad, but now I know like what the feeling is. And generally it's cleaning it out and almost immediate relief of that sensation of wax impaction, but still with the ringing ears. And the ENT diagnosed me with patulous ET, or PET. It's when the ear tube never fully closes. It kind of remains open. And so on top of, so it doesn't seem like one ear is worse than the other, although they'll happen at different times. Like I'll have that feeling. So when the tube remains open, you have this, like you can hear yourself kind of sensation.
The echoey feeling. Yeah,
the echoey feeling. And it doesn't seem to happen more often on one side or the other, but it doesn't always happen at the same time. Like I might feel that echoey from the right side versus the left one day. And so the combination of like the ringing, the wax impactions, and this like echoing and like a constant need. It's like this constant sensation like I need to clear my ears, but I always, when I go to clear them, I sometimes don't get anything. So that probably is the most recent symptom in the list of symptoms that has really just been, over the last 5 years, steadily increasing. It feels constant, although my notice of it comes and goes, if that makes sense. I would say somewhere in the middle. It doesn't like seem to affect my ability to hear. I do have to often ask for clarification, and then I also don't know if that is because like that sometimes that sensation of needing to clear my ears on top of the ringing or congestion. I don't know like which one is the cause at that time, or especially if I'm talking and someone else is talking at the same time and I have that echoey feeling. I mean, maybe didn't hear him, but I guess a combination of all those different things happening kind of at different times is, like that. Yeah, it comes and goes, and it'll come and go as I'm talking, which can be really like distracting. I don't know if that's just because I'm talking and moving and swallowing, and the tubes are like opening or slightly closing or staying open. Yeah. So yeah, like when I say I'm chewing or talking and like intermittently swallowing, sometimes it'll have the same effect as if I cleared my ears. And I do sometimes get relief as I'm talking or chewing. Although sometimes the process of talking or chewing may like clear my ear or cause that echoey feeling to start again. And so that can be like disrupting. The jaw issues have been going on for quite a while. After I got braces off, I was like a clincher grinder, and I complained of all kinds of different jaw feelings and pains. And so I started wearing a night guard. And at this point, it's not so much like a sharp pain as much as it is fatigue. Like I'll wake up, not necessarily one side versus the other, but like I'll wake up, sometimes I'll feel like I was chewing food all night, or during a meal, like I'll be halfway through and it feels like I've been like I'm worn out already, you know? Yeah, it's kind of like right here. And it's just this like strange like muscle fatigue, exhaustion feeling, even though
On both sides.
on both sides, yeah, it doesn't seem to favor or happen one side more than the other.
Tell me about the history. You started about the time you got braces. How old were you?
I was,
And what was fixed with the braces? What were they?
it was, fourth grade or fifth grade. So maybe early teenager or late adolescent, 37. Mm-hmm. And with braces, I was a thumb sucker, so I had, I don't know how detailed you want this, but they straightened my teeth, yeah.
Yeah, they did some widening of the palate.
Widening of the palate, and then some elastics to bring the bottom teeth forward, and then align them all. At that time it was more migraines, but I could tell like when I looked at my teeth visually, over time they started to get more flat, and I would wake up, like clenched down, and when I wore the bite guards, I could tell, it looked like someone had dragged it on the pavement. It had scrapes on it, and I would burrow little holes into it where my teeth touched it, and then if I got a new one, I would do the same thing to it. And yeah, in school it was a bite guard and some muscle relaxers, and reduce your stress. So, no, following braces, so this was maybe late grade school, high school, I had what I consider to be like debilitating migraines, the type where I had to lay down in a dark, quiet room, and I often got very nauseous, and I took medicine like Imitrex under the tongue, all kinds of different things to try to help them. But over time, especially after a lot of use of the night guard, and it seemed like I didn't have that extreme of headaches. Now, if I have headaches, say, are like more manageable, a lot less effect in my life, and I just kind of power through them.
You still have it? How often?
I have them infrequent, but maybe, I don't know, once a week. Yeah, they're generally in the front up here. Or like, kind of like if I were to try to put it where in a zone, it's like right here. And it happens, I don't know, once to twice a week. And I just take Tylenol or ibuprofen and try to get through it. And probably, like if the migraines that I used to have were 10, these are like a 4 or 5. Every once in a while, like one where I need to lay down. That may be less than monthly or less.
Come a little closer. Have your feet about shoulder width. Okay. You've seen me do this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to check your balance. You already got it going. I'm going to check your balance 3 different ways. Where you are, this is where you live, compared to 2 variables. Bite down on your teeth, arms all the way out, a little bit higher, and do your best to resist me. I'm going to try to push down. I'll do my best. Don't let me. Bite down tight. One more time. Bite down tight. That'll take more than 2 fingers, but it did. Now lean against this wall, with your back against the wall. Have your feet out some. Same width as before. Same width. Oh. But, yeah, there we go. Now, your back is well supported. Okay, arms all the way out. Let's see if it made a difference. A little higher, a little higher. Use the same 2 fingers. Do your best. Same 2 fingers, no change. Now, come back here and stand here. I'm going to put this in your mouth. Medibyte, not yet. Now bring your teeth together to the indentation. Arms all the way out. A little bit higher. Eyes open. I'm going to push down. See if I can do it with the 2 fingers. No. 3 fingers. No. 4. I'm going to use my weight now. Bite down tight. Bite down tight. I'm going to use my weight. No deal. Okay. Let the arm rest. Stay right there. Set that here. I'm going to use the same amount I did a second ago. Bite down tight. Bite down tight. In fact, I'm not sure I need to use my weight. Eyes open. About 15.
Okay.
Big difference.
Oh, why is that?
Why?
Yeah.
In
Like you
correcting the jaw alignment and neck alignment, let's not going to separate those, instantly aligns the rest of the body. Now we know, well, what do you think? Leaning against the wall didn't do any good, but this one instantly made you more stable. You no longer have to do this. Now you're back more centrally aligned. So your body during the daytime, without this, all along, what would it have to do? It has to balance. It has to compensate. Would it be in a rest, relaxed mode? Or
My name's Dr. Thompson and I'm from St. Louis, and I'm about 1 day after receiving the lower orthotic, and so far I feel some changes to a few of the reasons that I came in, both ear congestion and jaw pain, and starting to feel some changes. And honestly, although it was a big change in my mouth, I didn't feel much of a change functionally, which was very positive experience. I'll be back in a week and we'll see. 1 week I've noticed, I guess, what I would consider significant improvements. The most surprising initially was how comfortable the procedure, or how I tolerated the procedure and how comfortable it was, and how my body accepted that big of a change. Well, it might be a little different in my case because I'm a dentist myself, and in our initial dental training in school, change like that in the jaw was considered like no fly zone, and that you head down a bad path and all these painted negative things, where having been through that change and just 1-2 days later already being used to it and noticing improvements was really shocking to me.
5 millimeters as a
Yeah, a 5 mil, maybe for those in the dental field, a 5 millimeter change be like 5 mile change in some other context. Yeah, jaw pain, I've noticed maybe a 60% improvement in jaw pain. The pain for me was primarily in the morning. I woke up with a clenched jaw and the feeling like I exercised my jaw all night. And now, at least in the past 5 days, starting a couple days after I think the body was fully used to it, I would wake up much more relaxed. Not quite all the way, but more than halfway. The fatigue jaw fatigue is improved. Partly, I think I'm not doing the habits at night, grinding and or clenching, but it's still a little sore just from getting used to, or maybe sore is not the right word, that feeling like they're unwinding a little bit. Jaw fatigue, like 40-50%. Yeah, the fatigue energy change has been one of the larger ones, maybe 60-70%. And where I notice it is in the morning. I woke up not just with jaw pain, but feeling mentally like I ran a mile, or ran a marathon rather, and that didn't have that feeling of restorative sleep. And this was before. And now I wake up, and the wake up was a very droggy, slow wake up, where now it's significantly improved, and it's a little bit more of that clean wake up is the best way I can describe it. Yeah, during the day. So before I woke up very slowly and droggy, and it took a while to ramp up to, I don't know what would be normal. And then I started to fall off that couple hours after lunch. And so far I haven't felt that drop in the afternoon quite like I used to. I would say probably 60-70%.
Okay.
Yeah, the anxiety is an interesting one, because in the years of trying to figure it out, it wasn't so much like I responded or was reacting to things that were happening around me or events. I woke up with this steady state, almost like I woke up in like this fight or flight response. And I just kind of hung out there all day, give or take, going up or down. And then I would go to bed, finally fall asleep, wake up right back there. And I noticed about day 2 or 3 after the orthotic, waking up and not feeling like I was just, at that fight or flight feeling. What I noticed is when prior to the treatment, I started my day, like a little elevated. And then that made me a little more reactive to events, like something as simple as maybe getting cut off on the road or having a difficult conversation or interaction with someone. Because I was already elevated, it was very much easier, I think, to jump up a little bit. Yeah, more irritable maybe is the right word. Or my body almost just, was already heightened, so it just would go to the next level. Where now I wake up, significant improvement, 70, 80%, maybe higher. And I notice that I'm able to like take in stimuli, whether it's an interaction or news or information, and I don't like have a immediate like involuntary reaction to it. That one is similar, 70, 80% improvement. Yeah, I'm tall, lanky, male with a long torso, and I'm just gonna have back pain. And I've noticed definable improvement, maybe 20 or 30%, especially with me from our initial evaluation. My pain, it's kind of constant in my lower back, and that really translates like to my hips and ends at my knees. And I think there was periods during the day where that pain was like in the 7 range, where I had to react. I had to move or walk or react to it, but I could still like just get through the day. And since this, I've come off like that 7. I don't have those sharper peaks. It's just a lower dull pain, like, what I would take to 20 or 30% improvement. And that's why I'm excited to see the physical therapist. Is if my body posturing started in my jaw and just kind of flowed down, then now if my jaw's in the right spot, I can retrain my body, the lower extremity. Yeah, ear symptoms. So this one, being a dentist, was the one that I think I totally missed the boat on. And it makes sense because your jaw's right next to your ear, especially the like bony inner ear canal and the jaw joint. And for me, I had a lot of ear congestion and wax buildup and frequent impactions. And for someone who's very clean and focused on that, it was like annoying. It was very annoying. And also, if you've ever had that, it's very uncomfortable. It's like you have a cotton roll in your ear. On top of that was I in the past was diagnosed with patulous ET, where my ear tube remains open all the time, and so I have this weird feeling of where I hear myself talk, and I have noticed a decrease in that. I've also noticed a decrease in the ringing, and why they diagnosed me with that condition is, as I'm talking, I can not only hear myself talk, but my ears will clear, kind of like when you're taking off an airplane, and I would constantly be going like this, or trying to clear them. And that change I actually noticed was one of the first sensations that started feeling different. Even before I went to bed the day of delivery, started to feel like, I wouldn't like label it as an improvement necessarily, but I started to feel like that area is undergoing change. I don't know. Yeah, ear was more than 50%, like maybe 60, 70% range. I don't, as far as like the autophony and the ear clearing, that has almost that has been like 80 or 90% improvement. The ringing has dropped significantly, like half. I still feel at times like that's there, but much more muted. And we're only a week out, so I'm excited to see how much farther that goes. As far as the wax impactions, that maybe time will tell on that. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking to someone and it's a hard sensation to explain. It's like you're talking into a microphone and the speaker of yourself is right in your ear. And then on top of that, to have your ear constantly popping and clearing, it's very distracting to try to talk to someone. Yeah, so it's something I didn't talk about before. I just assumed it was part of me or related to something I hadn't figured out yet. That was when I talk for a long period of time, and sometimes a long period of time could be 10 or 15 minutes or less. I had a very sore throat, like you would have if you had a cold, sore throat. It would eventually either dissipate or I would forget about it. I also woke up with it almost every day, and it led me to using like cough drops and all these kinds of things. And I noticed, like, maybe it's hard to pinpoint the day, maybe like by Friday or Saturday I thought to myself, wow, I haven't like gone to my remedies for sore throat. I haven't really noticed it. And also had me thinking that in the past I had a lot of acid reflux type symptoms, and I had remedies for those like Tums and Alka-Seltzer and things like that, and I haven't. Nexium. Nexium, those types of medicines I don't want to be on permanently, so I would try to use them and, you know, do a regimen of the medicine, and then try like more simple remedies to get me to the next time I could do a 14-day series of Nexium, and I haven't gone for any of those three things. Yeah, so my probably every day I was taking either a Tums or Alka-Seltzer or something like that, and then about every 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so I would do a 2-week round of Nexium, and you're not supposed to be on that stuff that much, and so I would try to spread out the periods that I was on it of like I don't know, 90-95%. I mean, I have like had those sensations every once in a while, like maybe after eating, but never at least in the last week to go grab something. And I'm talking I would use those things just unrelated to mealtime. So
the other one is that
sore throat. Oh yeah, 80%. I think there's some soreness in my throat, I think from the muscles in the area relearning their position, but that dry sore throat feeling like you would get if your throat was dry, that significantly decreased. That probably like 80 or 90%. The muscle soreness is there. It's a little bit from like, you know, relearning this new chain. I think when I reflect on that, 3 things come to mind really. One is I didn't think my body would tolerate the change. I didn't expect that my body or anyone's body could tolerate that change so well, so fast. It was always taught to us that change is almost unachievable, like in any time frame. The second was the procedure itself, in layman's terminology, that there was a big, not just change in the positioning of the jaw, but the change in the actual, and to think that I could still talk and swallow and chew and function practically almost normal by 1 day later. Even immediately after, I was already like, you know, walking, so to speak, and by day 2 or 3 I was running. And if it was to describe in that scale. The third one is I didn't expect that the body could, all the symptoms that I was having that are related potentially to this, how fast I would see, my anticipation was maybe after 90 days I could point to some moderate changes in a few of the symptoms. Number one symptom that I had after discussing was anxiety and the feeling of like sluggishness, and I've noticed those to have significantly improved, particularly waking up in the morning and how I feel starting the day. I initially came for jaw pain and like muscle soreness around chewing muscles, and I think learned, and through the jaw, and I learned that there might be more symptoms connected to the condition, particular anxiety, sluggishness. A big one was symptoms involving my ear, like ear congestion, ringing. The left side, audio, no, but as far as ear congestion, the left side was more symptomatic. Now seems to be a large difference, if not almost all the way gone. I also had a condition where my ear tube was always open, and so when I would speak, I would hear myself talk and my ears would clear at random times. Has largely gone away. Trying to think of
percentages, take one at a time.
Yeah, I would say it seems like I'm sleeping a little better and waking up more refreshed and recharged. Yeah, probably 70 or 80%.
But throughout the day?
Yeah, I noticed probably before I ran out around 2 o'clock, maybe like early afternoon. And now what I notice happening is that that's less frequent. Like if it used to happen 5, 6, or 7 days a week, it happens 1 or 2 days a week. I also have a newborn, so don't always get the full night's sleep. But when I do have uninterrupted sleep, it's actually like a good recharge. Probably 80 to 90%, yeah. So anxiety, I noticed, like I said, I used to start the day just revved up a little bit, almost like I was doing work during sleep. And also I think what fed into that was being tired. And so I think when you're more tired, you're more irritable. And when I wake up, probably like the 80 to 85% range. I notice not starting off the day like that, and just a little more relaxed.
Has it translated into any differences in how you handle situations that come up, be it personal or professional, anything that come up?
Yeah, I notice I have less of a strong initial response. Sometimes it felt like it was like body led, like I would just get excited real quick, and now I think I can take in the information and process it cleaner.
So on that one symptom, anxiety, what percentage of improvement? I think you already told me that.
Yeah, 80-85%.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed after we started treatment, I started to see physical therapists associated with treatment, that I was able to address postural issues, and that may have been leading to extra tension up in my shoulders and lower back, and also like just making myself aware of that. Back pain improved. I noticed like where I really noticed it before was sitting or standing, like for long periods, and like say on a long drive or a desk at work. I noticed not feeling the pain, not moving around as much to try to relieve it. That's also like in the 80 to 90%. I think the treatment allowed is I can now actually do PT and strengthening and keep those gains. And so I hope that as I continue to correct my posture and strengthen my core, that it'll be a permanent feeling. The ear congestion is almost all gone. I had a little bit of a sinus infection a couple weeks ago, and I'd almost forgotten what ear congestion was like. And so, like I said, it's almost all but resolved. Something it's interesting as a symptom goes away, especially when you've been living with it for a long time, you get used to it being gone now, and then something like that reminds you what it was like in the past. Yeah, ear symptoms, like I said, is almost all gone, 95%, maybe 100%. Yeah, jaw pain, I've noticed, well, one, I used to wake up like clenching really hard, and so I started the day with like a fatigued, sore muscle, and I'd wake up like a little more of a relaxed state, and so I think that has the jaw pain, and really it was pain and tenderness kind of all the way up through the side. That has largely dissipated, and that was pretty quick. That was within days after starting treatment. That one had like an immediate big change, and then there was some getting used to the changes, which I've gotten over the past 7 weeks. I think my body's adapted to this new position, so maybe, I don't know, 80%. Yeah, I think I was blown away by how fast the change can happen. And for a long time, really from school, the type of change that I observed was traditionally thought not to be possible. And so to see it happen so fast on myself was really, yeah, a symptom I had before that I kind of lived with was acid reflux. Especially over the last few years, improved my diet significantly, but still had some symptoms. And so I noticed quite a resolution there, where I was using some remedy daily to now like probably more what I would think of as average, like after a meal that maybe isn't as healthy. It's probably like 60-70%. Like I used to just go to those remedies all the time. Now it's just like as needed at a time when probably an average person would need it. Yeah. And I noticed an increase in balance, I think, between like the gains and my posture and decreased back pain and all that. I feel like I'm able to move around quicker, and particularly in like fitness and athletics. Yeah, so I play racket sports, and it requires like balance and speed and agility, and I noticed quite an improvement there. Yeah, I mean, I would say my performance increased quite a bit, both speed and balance and ability to cross the court. No, like I said, I was pretty surprised how easy the procedures were and how fast the results came. Yeah, even as a dentist, it was maybe now it seemed glaringly obvious, but then being so focused on just certain parts of the body, like the jaw and mouth, when realizing that they're close to other structures like the ear, and how misalignment can follow and track all the way down the body.